Welcome to the Redbeard Embodiment Podcast. I am your host, Alex Greene, and I'm on a mission to bring the power of embodiment to people all around the world. In this podcast, we explore how embodiment practices, trauma healing, and knowledge about the human nervous system can help us find our ground, discover new sources of meaning, and create connection in an ever-changing world. The deepest change is embodied change.
All right. Hello, everybody. And I am back again here this afternoon with Liza Kimble. Liza is back home in South Africa where she lives, and I'm in Boulder, Colorado, where I normally am. And I'm excited to be speaking with Liza again. We had a conversation a few months ago on the podcast. In advance of her traveling to the United States to attend and present at the Fascia Congress in New Orleans. It happens every 2 or 3 years, and Liza was returning. She's been there in the past, but this time she got to educate about TRE and neurogenic tremoring to the sort of the fascial world. It was an exciting conference because other nervous system people were there, like Stephen Porges, the founder of polyvagal theory, was one of the keynote presenters. And I'm excited for this conversation mostly because I really want to hear how everything went, and I haven't heard it yet. This is sort of hot off the press because Liza just got home from her travels, and so I'm hearing sort of for the first time how the experience went, what the whole process was like. So, in any case, Liza, warm welcome. Thanks for coming in for a follow-up conversation.
Thank you so much. Well, it was an explosion of so many sensory things. I mean, have you been to New Orleans before, Alex?
I have not.
It's
No.
amazing. So much sensory input. I spent 2 days just on the streets, walking around, going into these amazing restaurants and shops. And there's a lot of voodoo stuff. There's a lot of great music.
Okay.
There are ghosts and vampires and all sorts. So it's a really interesting place. The hotel that the Congress was at was the Marriott Hotel, which is in the French Quarter, and we were staying next door to that, and it was beautiful. So it was a really cool experience. And then on day 3, I think it was, yeah, we headed into the Congress. It began. We had an opening gala evening, which was super fun, and everyone just got to meet and say hello again. You know, there's so many people over the years that you meet, and it's so lovely to see them again. You know, it's kind of reconnecting with the peeps. So that was cool. And then we opened up with Robert Schleip, who was the first keynote presenter the very next morning. And
Tell us a little bit. So I think of Robert Schleip as like, the main dude, but for our listeners, just who's Robert Schleip? Why is he important?
He's important because he's one of the founders of the fascial research in Germany at the University of Ulm. So he and a lady called Heike Jäger and Professor Werner Klingler, who was helping me with my talk, or not helping me, doing a talk with me, which I was very grateful for. He's a professor of neuroanesthesiology, and he actually helped Robert with his PhD. And this was the most amazing thing because Robert is a Rolfer, and he came more from a psychology background, and he then just has been an integral part. We think of him as like the godfather of the fascia research world, because he's also brought it into the world and he's brought it into the awareness. Why we love him so much is they pretty much, I don't think only with him, but what happened was they opened it up for therapists as well as scientists and doctors. And so
Okay. Was that new in some
It's
ways?
special. Usually at these kind of like a medical congress and that kind of thing, you will just have the
Hmm.
scientists or you'll just have the doctors. And the Fascia Congress
Hmm.
is from its inception been everybody. The doctors and
Okay.
scientists want to learn from the therapists, and we of course want to learn from them. And so that's why it's so
Right.
completely integrative. And I think he had a huge part to play in that.
Okay.
So he's really super special guy. Yeah, he's cool.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
I've got a little photo here of what his thing was. So I've obviously taken a few photos of
Okay.
slides here and there. So if I'm looking away, I'm just going to read his take home message because it's so exciting for those of us in
Okay.
the neurogenic tremoring world. So this was day
Right.
one. This is how it began. His take home message:
Okay.
constant dynamic interaction between fascia, the autonomic nervous system, and immune regulation. When there is depression, there's increased epimesial thickness. I mean, that's fascinating. So that's the epimesium, the covering of the
Yep.
muscles, the fascia on the muscles. PTSD
Yep.
influences myofascial pain sensitivity. I think a lot of us knew that already, but that was just being restated. And there is an indication
Sure.
of a 48-hour lag between acute stress activation and subsequent change in fascial mobility. So there's a 48-hour
Okay.
stiffening process that happens post trauma. Um,
Okay.
and of course, there's a very potent influence of the vagus on systemic inflammation. Yeah.
Right.
So the fascia responds
Was
directly to stress.
in that talk was Robert Schleip, was he referencing, I mean, because I know he's sort of broadly aware of so much research. Was he presenting kind of multiple research groups, or was this kind of his own research or a
Oh,
combination?
that's such a great question because I can't even tell you. If I remember correctly, he had been piecing new stuff together, like that 48-hour stiffening
Yep.
thing. Yeah. Um,
Yep. Yep.
but
Yep.
that's a good question. We should look up, and all the new stuff will be in the Journal of Movement and Bodywork. But also you can
Got it.
find stuff on
Perfect.
PubMed
Yeah.
if there's anything new. Yeah, yeah. So that's how it
Cool.
started off with a
Cool.
bang. So what was so cool about this Congress? It was actually all about the autonomic nervous system and fascia from all different directions. I mean, we had 2 keynote speakers a day, and then we had constant throughout the day four different sessions going where you had to choose which one to go to, which was hard because there's a lot of good stuff out there. I chose
Right.
to go to Fabiana de Silva. She's the president of the Fascia Research Society. What a beautiful woman. She's from South America, I think from Brazil. And
Hmm.
she showed us like the most beautiful vagal reset that you can do with. Mm, I'm going to totally teach this one of these days. Uh, Also, just to figure out
Cool.
how we can do it for ourselves. I think that's the important thing. Um,
Right.
but kind of lying on her back, knees up, pressure on the diaphragm, turning the head to
Hmm.
the side. And so she was putting the pressure on the lady's diaphragm and pushing down, and then getting her
Mm-hmm.
to turn her neck to
Mm-hmm.
the easier side first,
Mm-hmm.
and then sticking her tongue out and making sounds. I thought that was
Okay.
cool. Yeah, that was quite fun.
Cool. I love it.
That might be a
Yeah.
fun one to try before tremoring. Yeah, she's just taking some
Yeah.
breaths
Or during
or during
tremoring.
tremoring.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. I really enjoyed that. And she's really beautiful and very into ventral vagal tone and all that kind of stuff. Um,
Those Brazilians. I have heard that Rio de Janeiro has the highest per capita. It's the city in the world with the highest per capita number of therapists, psychotherapists. But also, there's a huge somatic experiencing community in Brazil, a huge Rolfing community in Brazil. As we know, there's a lot of TRE. But I've never been to Brazil, but like Brazil is like a major hub of
Yeah,
somatic
that
work
makes
in my
sense then.
mind.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was very beautiful. There were other
Mm,
people presenting stuff like if someone's highly traumatized and they're coming into the practice, a self-help tool they can do is really just squashing themselves wherever they can reach and just coming back into
mm.
their body with the simplest thing like that. I mean, I think I definitely overcomplicate everything. Um, my brain would be already on the next 10 steps. And I thought that was so cool because just with some breathing and just getting back into your body, but the
Mm,
squeezing definitely worked on the arms
mm,
and then on the calves.
mm.
She was encouraging people to squeeze their
Okay.
calves as well, just as a way of
Yeah.
grounding. And because of the calf, obviously, can have a very tight fascia when we're super stressed or in sympathetic arousal, because the limbs get ready. So the fascia stiffens because it's getting ready to activate. So
I
by
see. Okay.
squeezing it kind of and relaxing it and saying, "I'm here, I'm good." That was cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. The Gil Hedley. I love that guy. Gil Hedley. For people who don't know him,
Mm.
please know him. Maybe Alex can send a link or something. So
Yeah, yeah, we'll put that. Famous for the his anatomy videos on YouTube, the fuzz speech. Many people have seen. He's doing all this touring, and maybe in the United States, the Nerve Tour is like people are raving about that. I've talked to few people who went
I
to
would
it.
love.
Yeah, we'll put
Yeah,
links for all these
that would
people
be
down
great.
below.
So
Yeah, yeah.
he has dissected a vagus nerve in its entirety. And it was so special because actually it was a friend of his, the donor.
Oh wow, interesting.
So it was very emotional. Even when he was presenting, it was very emotional.
Mm.
There was not one person in the auditorium that
Yeah,
wasn't feeling that love. Yeah.
a dry
Yeah.
eye.
Even now,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
get
yeah.
such goosebumps.
Mm.
And what was brilliant is Gil really had a huge platform this year. He was very center stage. And I love that because this guy is just heart and soul and love. And he's really close friends also with Stephen
Mm.
Porges. Um, and
Hmm.
oh, yeah, so fascinating to see the how he's done. And even he hasn't found all the fibers, as he tells you. It's just too complicated,
Yep.
and it's never been done. What he
Right.
did, it's never been done. That the whole
Yeah.
nerve was dissected.
Okay.
But he was saying the
Wow.
trigeminus and the glossopharyngeal nerve and the vagus. We think they're all so separate or whatever. And he was like, they're all sitting in one sheath together. And then he was saying,
Okay.
there's a lot of fatty pockets. Actually, you have to dig to actually get to the vagus. It's not like a
Okay.
warm, you're going to activate it. He was saying not so much. What I
Okay.
came away with, of course, for those of us who do kind of massage treatments and that, it's all great. But um, he was saying he would feel, and what I've come away with is sounding is definitely a big thing.
Okay. The vibration from sounding.
Whether it's
Yeah.
humming or
Yeah.
sighing or whatever, almost more effective. Chanting,
Chanting.
all of the
Yeah.
sounding things. Yeah, I think we have to also
Yeah.
come out of repression and really start using our voices. I think that's probably
Yeah.
the human race is one of our biggest problems. We don't sound enough.
The, The suppressed voice. Yeah.
So that was amazing.
Yeah.
And that's not up yet for us to kind of watch and buy, even if it's, he hasn't uploaded it as content yet. But the second he does, I'm going to watch that.
Me too. Me too. Yeah, me too.
Because obviously he didn't have much time. He had 20 minutes, or I think 14, not long. So he had to just show like key points. But the whole thing was being filmed actually by the donor's son. Can you believe it? How special.
Wow. Yeah.
Amazing. So that was a huge highlight for me. Werner Klingler did a very fascinating talk, actually, and he was hilarious, very funny. He got a standing ovation because he started off saying, we actually took him for a voodoo reading the day before. He was too scared to go on his own, so 3 of us went in with him. And that was super funny because he doesn't believe in any of this stuff. And it was really good. It was really accurate. This is super fun. And I realized, voodoo has such a bad rap, but really it's a lot of life work as well. So when he did his talk as in the main auditorium the next day, he based the whole thing on the fact that for years people saw the fascia as voodoo, which is true. All these alternative things that we do, all this weird and wonderful stuff that's becoming more and more mainstream. So that was really funny.
Well, and then also, like Stephen Porges' original work was studying the voodoo death phenomenon. Have you heard that story? He first got into his work of polyvagal theory because of the unexplained nature of what's called voodoo death, where if people like if they've been hexed or shunned or something, and then they can go into they can go into such an autonomic response of bradycardia, where the heart rate slows. I mean, basically what we now call dorsal vagal shutdown, and it can, in extreme cases, can lead to death. So actually, that's one of the major parts of he was studying. Why does that happen physiologically? So that's another voodoo connection.
That's quite amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
So, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, we have that
here
at home as well.
Yeah.
If people believe they've been in our communities, if they feel they've been cursed, then they happen to us on the farm. One of our favorite people just lay down and die. Yeah, it's interesting. Power of the body and the mind. Interesting. Stephen. Okay, cool. So I guess that theme was running. And then the other thing that was very exciting was sitting for quite a long time with John Sharkey. Are you familiar with John Sharkey? He's an anatomist from Dublin.
I am, yeah.
He's kind of he's got like reels and stuff of him teaching and things.
Okay.
And so it was him and a few other people. And the conversation was consciousness and soul consciousness and fascia and the collagen fibers being electric and holding light and holding energy, and that now the question is really all around what is consciousness, where is consciousness. So they're asking all these really beautiful, we are all one, we are all connected through our fascia, and all these beautiful things. These are scientists sitting there in a room talking about this stuff. That's where we're at. That was super fun.
That's a good place to be at. I'm excited. That's where we're at.
That really is where we're at. Lots of discussions also around changing the name, because people are feeling that fascia doesn't really explain the fullness of what the tissue means.
Okay.
Since it is the tissue of the
what
soul,
Yeah, what are some of the proposed new
Nothing
names?
has been said yet. In fact, they were asking, like
Okay.
John in one of his talks that I was in, he was asking us to come up with names. Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
I mean, I almost thought
Yeah.
connective tissue in the beginning, as it used to be called when we were at school, is almost still the best name. Kind of does describe exactly what it
Yeah.
is, right?
Yeah, that's what I often say. Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
On the other hand, the world was only just catching on to this whole new concept. Now they're going to change the name. I don't know. Maybe it's overcomplicating stuff again.
We'll see.
So, but it was lovely
We'll
to
see.
have these very spiritual, connected moments in these sessions where you've got like 200 people in a room, and then we all just did like heart math and held our hands on our hearts and connected through our fascia with each other and the world. So I think the ripple is going to go out from also that event, because at the very end, all 500 people did it again. Yeah, and Stephen was like, "You guys are quite a cool group." It's very sweet.
I bet that's what he thought. Yeah.
I was very privileged also. While we were waiting for one of the talks, I did walk up to him and introduce myself, and I said, I would just like to say hi and that I was going to do the TRE. And he goes, "Oh, well, in that case, let me give you a great big hug." So we had a moment, and then we were walking to the same talk together. So we ended up chatting, and then we ended up, the talk person was late. So I had like half an hour, and we were talking about the most incredible things, all about ancient sites in the world, actually. That was nice.
Cool. Wow.
He's still
Fascinating.
so fascinated about everything. Göbekli Tepe and
Yeah.
ancient standing stones in South Africa at Adam's Calendar and all these things.
Yep. Yeah. No, he's an interesting guy. When David and I were getting ready with him to come talk at a TRE online event, and we were kind of had a pre-meeting going over some of the questions and things, and 75% of our conversation was how how he's so interested in he loves his work and he loves how it's been accepted within the medical framework, but that he's in some ways limited because he's very interested in what sort of the spiritual dimensions or this field of neurotheology, the connection between the neurobiology and sort of spirituality. But he said he's a little bit restricted from going too far in that direction just through the nature of his grants and things. But you could tell that, he's more than just he's not only a scientist, he's an amazing scientist, but his interests are very broad, from what I gather.
So got that. Yeah, definitely. And I think he was having fun with the Fascia Congress people, because he actually spoke one time about a grant of kind of putting all his ideas. He didn't go into it in depth, but he said he would never get one. But that he kind of felt in that community, it's so woo-woo, the fascia community, you've got like the strict scientists doing their stuff, and then you've got the other bunch who are also all scientists, but they're into all the woo-woo. So I think he had fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
it was very cool. So those were like my standout moments. There was quite a lot with veterinary that was fun. With Vibeke and them, they have dog lines. They're going to bring out a book with dogs. They've got one with horses, and they're basing anatomy treatments on the dogs
Great.
now. So that is
Cool.
So that book's going to come out.
They should do that for horses too. Have they done it for horses?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
She presented the horse one. Well, the book, I think they brought the book out about 5 years ago, something like that. So that was nice. So we had some
Yeah.
animal stuff. What else did I want to tell you about Werner? Oh, that was very interesting. People after traumatic brain injury. Let me just tell you exactly. That's something for us to definitely have in our mind. I didn't write down. I'll do it. I'm gonna definitely. I'll do like a webinar one of these days with all this information. There's just too much. But that is the suicide risk of traumatic brain injury 6 months after the diagnosis is extremely high. Something for people to watch out for. And they found that it was a definite thing. It didn't depend on operation or this or that. It was literally just traumatic brain injury.
Okay.
So I found that quite frightening, but good to know. I mean, if you know that.
Good information.
Yeah, just to keep an eye on people who have had traumatic brain injury. They were saying it wasn't the nature of what had happened even into the brain. It was literally consistently whether they'd fallen from the horse or had a car wreck, across the board.
Okay.
Good.
Yep.
Strange. Good.
Yep.
Anesteco did lipedema. That was very interesting. How it's hormonal, and the hormones are just putting a lot of inflammation in the legs of these ladies who have a lot of pain in their legs, and kind of be touching around on them. We got back as a big general talk. Gil opened up the field for massage therapists around deep tissue massage, and there were so many situations where it's just not cool anymore.
I see.
All about being, if you're going to be deep, you're going to be extremely slow. And if things like there is something like a lipedema, you barely touch them because it's so painful. The inflammation is hyperreactive.
I see.
The pain threshold is too much. The myofascial pain, so they can't take it. So just being very mindful of doing things gently.
Yeah. Right.
So people again not speaking out and saying, "Ouch, you're actually hurting me," which isn't easy because therapists then aren't aware. It's back to that thing, we need to use our voices more. That definitely came up.
Right.
Then another interesting one for massage therapists regarding trigger points. I'm going to read to you this one. Trigger points can cause muscle weakness without atrophy, so it's like a pseudo weakness. They can be associated with autonomic dysfunction. We know that there's stress therefore. They can cause proprioceptive disturbances. They can be latent, not referring pain. However, they restrict range of motion and cause dysfunction. And what the lady was telling us about with this, she was talking about the central pattern generators and how obviously we're getting into a habit of whatever, bad posture, blah, 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 not using, she was saying for rounded shoulders, the lower trapezius needs to be activated. And so instead of pushing on trigger points, her whole theory was if you're pushing on the trigger points, you are creating more pain. And you are also, if it's on bone, you're hurting the periosteum. So she says, wherever possible, pull away. Pull it away. And I thought that was interesting.
Cupping. Do some cupping.
Like cupping. Yeah. But she pulls it and twists it and turns it.
Yeah.
Of course, people with the extreme myofascial pain syndromes and blood thinners and all that, you don't do it with. Sure. Osteoporosis, history of abuse in our circles, of course, that's massive. chronic fatigue, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. But that was Barbara Cunningham, that lady's called. You know her?
Mm.
She seemed pretty well known. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I don't
But that
know.
was cool. That was
Yeah.
like a whole different thing.
Well, wait. Okay. Well, so all right. So I wanted to hear about the world esteemed the talk by
Oh,
one of my heroes, Lisa Kimble, who was bringing the concept of neurogenic tremoring to the fascial world. No, but yeah, how was your
okay.
talk?
So I got a whole
Yeah, and
hour.
what connect and what?
I got a
Okay,
whole hour. I was also, we had the
yeah,
morning sessions and then they would have the keynote speakers. So it was 7 to
okay,
8 a.m., which is pretty early start, but that's kind of how it had been throughout. There were 4 different
sure,
sessions at the same time again. And
right, yeah,
so Werner started off the talk for us
okay,
where he
okay,
spoke about when you come out of anesthetic and you're tremoring and how they didn't understand what that was initially and da da da. So he was telling them about that kind of anesthetic wearing off, coming out of a freeze tremor. So that was great because hearing
sure,
it from the
yeah,
anesthesiologist, that's like cool. So he was explaining to them that
yeah,
it's
definitely,
natural and it's nature, and I think it's so important that that also must somehow eventually get out to the mainstream medical practices that the people are not freezing to death; they're just coming out of a freeze, really. Anyway, because I think the staff do
right,
tend to get quite
right,
stressed; they don't know what's happening.
yeah,
So he did that. He spoke for about 10 minutes, and then I did the SOAS release with, I brought everyone close
mm,
in. He reckoned there were about 100 people, not sure. So we huddled in, we got a model. She was a great model because she started tremoring. And I didn't know that at the time. What did I talk about? I spoke about the polyvagal theory. I explained about the SOAS and how the fascia trauma connection, but very brief because we wanted to get into the crack.
mm-hmm,
And so I did the
mm-hmm,
made her do her own releasing in her psoas and her inner cups very
mm-hmm,
slowly and
mm-hmm,
gently, and everyone could kind of see it was getting an emotional release, and
yeah,
everyone had to
yeah,
breathe. It was very, very cool. You know, people
right,
are intensely focused on
yeah,
something. And
yeah,
the test before and then the test after, and she also started to tremor during the her self releasing, which was very cool. Mm-hmm.
sure,
Very nice.
very cool,
And then
yeah.
I had to just quickly explain to them, okay, guys, like this is what you're gonna do, and they lay down, and I had 2 of my friends helping me.
So did it? Did everybody? So many
Everybody
people
came,
tried
the
it.
whole
Tried
room,
TRE.
whole
Okay,
room.
cool.
They all lay down. Well, Vanna was there, and then 2 of my friends. So we walked around
Yeah.
and we made sure everyone knew where their SOAS points were, but a lot of body workers and dancers and everyone were
Mm,
there, so they know what they're doing. Um, Pilates
mm-hmm.
instructors, and then they tremored, and they tremored for
Mm,
8 minutes,
mm-hmm.
and then they came out of it, and I had made a whole ton of flyers, just a piece of paper with the QR code for um, the TRE website, so people could just
Mm-hmm.
take, and I thought that'll at least lead them to the right place.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sure.
and they were just, you know what it's like. First time people do TRE, they just sit up and they kind of like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And so I had
Yeah.
like 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes. We went a bit over time with just questions. People just coming and coming and coming, and wow, what
Mm,
is that? What was that? That's the coolest thing I've ever felt,
yeah.
and it was so positive. It was really brilliant,
Mm,
and it went smoothly and
fantastic.
seamlessly, and I didn't even get time to show the impaler freeze video. I always find that a great one. Didn't even have time for that because Vanna was like, "You got to get these people tremoring."
Yeah.
Yeah, and they did. They all did. Every
Yeah.
single one. Yeah, and Vibeke Elbrandt, who's the lady who's bringing out the dog slings, the anatomy trains for dogs, and she's done the horses, and her friend, her colleague Rika, they were there. So now they're like, oh, but how? That's so interesting, and we need to talk, blah, blah, blah. They were very excited. So that was very cool.
Cool.
That was
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
wow, that sounds like I thought you were only going to have like 20 minutes or 30 minutes or something, and you wouldn't, and I thought you were going to maybe demonstrate it or show a video, but I didn't. I'm so happy that you had time to give them an experience. I mean, there's no better way than that.
And I was so
Yeah.
happy too. And I think the fact that Werner spoke first, that always creates safety. They already had seen him talk. They already knew he was, he is actually the founder of the Fascia Research Society.
I see. Okay.
I think that helped a lot, as always, because you don't have much time. So it's like throwing everyone in the pool, and they're not so,
right.
So that was cool. They felt very safe, and they felt safe.
That's wonderful.
And
yeah.
I had more than one person come up to me and say, "We've been waiting for something like this the whole Congress." That meant it. That was
Totally. Beautiful.
And it was just so much fun.
I'm sure you made all kinds of connections that will be people that you're already well connected to this community, but I'm guessing that deepened even further
And I
on
also
this.
had business cards, and I just kind of threw everything around for people to grab, and I think it's going to be good. I think the website traffic's going to get better, and people
good job.
I'm going to do a whole lot of webinar stuff next year, because what I've felt, even maybe still this year, but this year feels like it's over. People are feeling so overwhelmed, and I think it's like what you're doing. Just giving bite-sized chunks instead of these long workshops. Everyone's just, I'm still going to do those, but I really think,
but also
bite-sized chunks.
Yeah.
It's where everyone's at the moment. I think there's such overwhelm in the world.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited about that too. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
To present more, and then whoever wants to come, the TRE community or the body workers,
the fascia community, or whoever. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because before I think I used to have stuff a bit more defined, and now I'm throwing that all away. Why?
Me too. Yeah. Oh yeah, me too. Same thing. Yeah. Yeah. It's one human body, right? We don't. Yeah. Like it's one human experience. I'd say everybody's welcome. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's going to be the project.
Wow. Well, I'm guessing, I'm imagining that you're filled with new knowledge, new connections, community, but probably also inspiration. I imagine that there's things that this time is probably going to be feeding into where you're headed now. Can you just share a little bit about that? Where are you taking this?
I think it's kind of what I've shared with you now already, that to share the stuff that I learned there, but also, it's not really new to those of us who've combined TRE with bodywork forever. Like we were in awareness of the fact that they are intimately connected, and that the fascial system and the autonomic nervous system are intimately connected. But I feel this has taken it
Yeah.
just another step deeper, and it's been and there's lots of places I want to explore, lots of concepts, stuff that I heard, and I was like, I want to deep dive in there. Exactly. That's. I haven't processed it yet, really. I mean, I kind of started processing it today because I knew we were going to have this talk, and I thought, oh yeah, what? Like, let me go through some of my photos because I'm.
When did you how long when did you get home?
3 weeks ago. So it's long, but it's
Okay.
not long
Okay.
because there's so much other stuff to do as
Yeah.
well. And it was
Yeah.
so busy. It was such an overload. It was a
Yeah.
lot. But I was quite happy to
Oh,
see that
amazing.
when
Well,
going back in the pictures and stuff, it was coming back to me. So that was cool.
super cool. Well, when you were there, so I haven't been to the Fascia Congress, but I'm definitely gonna. Will the next one be in 3 years? Is it 2 years or 3 years? The interval.
I think it will be in 2 years, but we're not always sure. Like sometimes it's been 3 years.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
see. I see.
And what they are saying is Germany again, because it always was
Okay.
there, and then it
Yeah.
came to America, to Canada, and America twice. So time to go back
Yeah.
to Europe. But
Yeah.
it's organized.
Well, what this year, yeah. Well, while this was happening, I was thinking about you. One, and actually I have a colleague from Wisconsin who's a anatomy trained structural integration therapist. He was there. I haven't talked to him yet. Maybe he was. I hope he went to your talk. His name is Anders. Um, but while that was going on, I was thinking about it, and then I was in Norway. This is why I couldn't go to the Congress this year. And then I was thinking about you especially because, and I don't know much about your work. All I remember is what you mentioned to me in our conversation a few months ago. Some of your interest in indigenous communities and the Sami and whatnot. But we took mostly we were in the southern part of Norway, but we went up way north past the Arctic Circle to didn't go as far as Svalbard and all of that, but we went to the sort of the northern capital of Tromsø, and we were there for about 4 days and got to experience the midnight sun for the first time. And it wasn't like I had some big Sami connection other than going to a really interesting museum about Sami culture. But I was thinking about you a little bit, being up
Yeah.
north. Yeah. Because, yeah.
I
So
mean, did I tell you about the yoiking last time?
I think that's
Talked
what you
about that.
started to. I mean, I'm not sure how much time. Yeah. Where is that
So
community?
that is all the Sami people originally in their tradition is the people would
Mm,
yoik, and the yoiking is using your voice. So we're back to that, and it makes so much sense now. The more we
right.
understand about Vegas and everything,
Right.
that they believe
Right.
every single human has the power to heal themselves through their own individual song. You're born with your own song, and it's up to you
I
to
see.
find it. And this is another thing that I want
Got
to
it.
do because one of the ladies offered to teach me when I was there. And I also have to overcome a
Mm,
lot of my own shyness issues, as we all do. I'm getting a lot better. But to sing out
right.
really loud and with a lot of volume and loud and proud, but finding
Right.
teaching people how to find their song, and
Mm,
I think it's going to be crazy. So that's something I'm very interested in, And then you can sing,
Where
you
did
can
you?
sing a tree, you can sing to a baby, you can sing to an animal. It's a healing song. So you can heal your own body with your song.
I see.
Mm.
Wow. Where did you connect with that community, Lisa?
So
Where did you
I
travel?
traveled to Kiruna in the north of Sweden. And we had, with a friend of
Okay.
mine, and we'd made a connection to a guy called Peter Forbes, who is of a Sami shamanic tradition up there. And we stayed with him for 4 days,
Hmm.
and he took us to his cousin, who is this lady, Yana Mangi. She's also a shaman, and she's a singer. She was like a rock singer in the 80s. Yeah,
Wow.
very musical family, but as all Sami traditions, she has her reindeer that she looks after, and her mum still grew up in a teepee,
Right.
her own mum.
Yep. 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 Yeah.
Amazing.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
that's why
Yeah.
we had to we sought him out. There were three options, and then it worked the best to go to him. And yeah, it was very very cool. It's very special.
Very cool. I love that the connection into sound and voice and that idea of the healing song. And I guess, to me that makes a lot of sense. And then part of it, I like the language you used of like, your work is to sort of find that for yourself. I mean, I don't know exactly how they think about it, but it makes me think that it's like something that a person kind of arrives at. It's a little bit like sort of finding that sort of deep authenticity or something like that. But yeah, what a cool way of thinking about that.
I think it's like tremoring. It's just stuff that was lost to us, and
Hmm.
now that we're kind of the native, the original people, nations, wisdoms are coming together, and you know we're sharing knowledge. These things are coming back.
Right. Hmm.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
I think
Yeah,
it's going to be very interesting. Combine that with tremoring.
absolutely. Very, very cool. I applied to do a conference next year in Hawaii, and it's a trauma-based conference, very kind of multi-spectrum. I have an old family friend who's been one of the um, she's a clinical social worker and has been one of the main spearheads of this conference. Um, and one of the themes is of that conference is indigenous practices and indigenous healing. And so I'm hoping to present there. And I lived in Hawaii for about 7 years. I grew up as a kid there part time, and I have some kind of connections. And so, um, yeah, but that theme of the intersection of somatic approaches, Western approaches, but being able to learn from indigenous wisdom and indigenous culture. To me, that's such a fruitful conversation. Um, yeah, to me, there's so much there.
I agree, definitely.
Yeah,
I think it's what we've
yeah.
been missing. Kind of the bridge has been come closer with the Chinese medicine and in Ayurvedic medicine.
Hmm.
That's not so foreign anymore. But the really old stuff we haven't
Yeah,
started uncovering enough.
I think you are. I think you're right. I
And
think you're
that's where
right.
the fun and magic's gonna
Um,
happen.
right. Well, Lisa, give us a little bit of let us know how people could connect with you. If you want to, I know you're doing a cool program. If you want to do a little bit of a teaser about that, I know maybe it's not ready to be revealed. Like yeah, what would you share just by way of closing, and if somebody
All
wants to
right.
connect with you?
Okay. Well, so there is the website is the best way of looking at what's going on, the courses, connecting with us, connecting with me. So subscribing to the newsletter is obviously the first entrance in. And then we're going to be uploading the courses. Actually just sat today and I started to map it out, which won't even include these webinars that we're going to do. Sam is my business partner and so she and I are going to still bring all that in. But if you subscribe to the newsletter, you're going to see kind of where we're headed and the new dates coming up. I have horse workshops. I have now decided to just do like a 10-day human, fully fat, quite a technical, normal sort of fascia release workshop with case studies and everything. So that's a bit more like a school. And then we're going to do the webinars. And then this really cool, my new passion is bringing some of this ancient medicine wisdom into mainstream, combining it with polyvagal theory, ancient wisdom from the twisted hair people of North America, who I am a fifth-year student of those teachings. And then we combine it with tremoring, with the psoas work, with a bit of craniosacral, with TRE. Did I say that already? Wait, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But anyway, it's all there, so you can find it. It's called The Human Algorithm, and I think it's going to be very interesting. I've done a little bit already, but not what I'm presenting now. That's going to be coming up in October. Is a 5-week series, and I think that's going to be very cool, as opposed to, because you can work with it in between the weeks. So, yeah. Oh, and we're going to use.
Oh my gosh!
All right. Well. Lots of voice.
Oh, good. Oh my gosh. Well, I want to participate because it sounds so interesting to me. And then B, maybe in about a year or something, I want to do another conversation. I want to keep hearing about what you're learning and exploring and unfolding. So, Liza, thank you so much for just taking time to share. It's really cool just to hear that sort of just those reflections from the conference and how it's inspiring you. So yeah, really, really big thank you.
It was a very amazing experience. Very rich. Thank you, Alex.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Redbeard Embodiment Podcast. To learn more, visit us at redbeardsomatictherapy.com or send me an email at alex@redbeardsomatictherapy.com. If today's conversation resonated with you, help spread the word by subscribing and sharing with others. Hope to see you next time.